All right, Eagles fans, let's dive into this Sunday night meltdown that's got the entire city of Philadelphia shaking their heads. If you're waking up still frustrated after what felt like a winnable game that slipped right through our fingers, you're not alone. The Eagles took their first loss of the season, and it wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse, a frustrating, self-inflicted implosion that says more about what's wrong with this team than any box score ever could. Now let's get straight into it. The Eagles dropped this one to the Denver Broncos, and what makes it worse is not just the final score. It's the way we got there. This wasn't about getting beat by a better team. This wasn't about not having talent. This was about mistakes. Dumb, avoidable, shoot yourself in the foot. What are we doing kind of mistakes. And that's the stuff that drives any serious football fan crazy, especially when you know what this roster is capable of. We're talking penalties that kill drives, mental errors, blown assignments, and when it all adds up, it ends in disaster, just like it did here. Through the first 2.5 quarters, things actually looked solid. The offense had some rhythm. The defense? Phenomenal. 3 points allowed through 3 quarters. The Broncos didn't even sniff the red zone until their first touchdown. That's high-level football from the defense. They were locked in, physical, disciplined. But as the game wore on and the offense stalled, that defense, who had been doing everything right, just got gassed. They needed the offense to help them out, to put together a couple drives, to stay on the field. But nothing. The Eagles' offense completely flatlined in the fourth quarter. Not just slowed down, flatlined. 0 points in the final 5 drives. 2.7 yards per play. Just 3 first downs. That's brutal, and you're not going to win games like that. After that electric 47-yard wheel route touchdown to Saquon Barkley, you'd think it was time for the offense to build on that momentum. Instead, they vanished. And full credit to Denver's defense. They adjusted. They started the game playing a lot of man, and later shifted into zone, and that's where they really threw the Eagles off. They loaded the box, baited the Eagles with disguised blitzes, and then dropped into coverage. That's how you outcoach a team. That's how you confuse an offense. And the Eagles? They had no answers. None. And let's be clear here. Jalen Hurts actually played a pretty solid game. He finished 23 for 38, threw for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns, and had a quarterback rating just above 100. And he made some big-time throws. That 52-yard bomb to Devonta Smith dropped it in the bucket. That out-route touchdown to Dallas Goedert in the red zone, on the money. Even that wheel route to Saquon, Hurts called it himself. He saw the mismatch, exploited it, and burned former Eagle Alex Singleton. That's high IQ quarterback play. But what's so frustrating is that even with Hurts showing flashes of elite-level play, it wasn't enough. And you know why? Because every time this team got something going, they got in their own way. A holding penalty here, an illegal formation there, a pass wiped out by a flag. That's not just bad luck. That's sloppy football. That's bad execution. And that is not what championship teams do. Let's talk about the offensive line. Because if we're being real, that unit has been the backbone of this franchise. It's what has made this team consistently dangerous over the last few years. But this year, they've been bad. There's no sugarcoating it. Denver came into this game leading the league in sacks, quarterback hits, and pressure rate. And they showed exactly why. They racked up 6 more sacks in this one. Constant pressure, collapsing the pocket, making Hurts work overtime just to stay upright. And that is a massive concern going forward. If this offensive line doesn't get it together, everything else suffers. Run game, timing, pass game, everything. You know what else doesn't help? Being terrible on third down. 2 of 11. That's right, 2 conversions on 11 third down attempts. You're not going to win games with that kind of inefficiency. Meanwhile, Denver went 5 for 16. Not great, but when it mattered most, they converted. They got it done. That's the difference between closing out a game and letting it slip away. Another big talking point, and it should be, is the lack of touches for Saquon Barkley. 6 carries. That's it. 6. That's inexcusable. Especially when you had a lead in the second half, when you're trying to control the clock, when your offense is struggling. That's the time to lean on your bell cow. But they didn't. And yes, part of that is Denver's defense. They were loading the box, showing blitz, backing off into coverage, forcing the Eagles to adjust. But at some point, you got to find a way to get your playmaker the ball. Period. There's another layer to this too. When wide receivers start chirping about targets, it changes things. It's no secret that guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith want the ball. And look, they should. They're stars. But when it starts impacting the flow of the game, when it leads to the team force-feeding the passing game just to keep guys happy, that's a problem. You want your playmakers involved, of course, but not at the expense of your offensive identity. And that's what it feels like happened here. But beyond the play calling, beyond the stats, what really burns is the lack of discipline. Pre-snap penalties, personnel fouls, lining up incorrectly, not being set. That's high school stuff. And under Nick Sirianni, that's not who this team has been. But right now, it's who they are. Sloppy, undisciplined, unfocused. And you can't tell me this isn't a hangover from last season. All through training camp, the message was clear. This is a new team, a new season, new goals. But the way this team is playing, it feels like they're still living off last year's success. Like they're coasting. And that's dangerous. Even when they had a chance to win late, they blew it. Down by 1, more than 7 minutes left on the clock, and the offense had life. They were moving. Hurts hits Devonta Smith on 2nd and 1, moves the ball across midfield. Momentum building. And then flag. Ineligible man downfield. Penalty wipes out the play. Drive stalls. That's brutal. Next drive. Hurts again makes a clutch throw to Devonta. This time on 4th and 4, 30 yards. Huge gain. They're in field goal range. Eagles back in business. And again, penalty. This time, Saquon wasn't set before the snap. That's a detail. That's a timing issue. That's preparation. You have 9 seconds on the play clock when he goes into motion. 2 seconds when he comes back. And somehow you're still not set? Those are the moments that separate contenders from pretenders. Those are the moments you have to execute. You have to be sharp. But instead, the Eagles had to punt. Defense goes back on the field, already tired, already reeling. And guess what? More penalties. Zach Bond gets flagged for unnecessary roughness, trying to finish a play on a ball carrier. That's 15 more yards. More time off the clock. More pressure on the offense. And by the time the Eagles got the ball back, they needed a touchdown just to win. No time for mistakes. No room for error. And it was too late. You can blame the officials if you want. You can argue about the late calls. But the truth is simple. The Eagles lost this game because they played dumb football. Because they made the same mistakes over and over again. Because they lacked discipline. Because they weren't ready. And that falls on everyone, from the coaches to the players to the leaders in that locker room. And you know what the players said after the game? They owned it. Zach Bond said it straight up. Those were dumb mistakes. They can't happen. Nick Sirianni took responsibility too. Said these are things that require no talent. Lining up right. Avoiding pre-snap penalties. Those are effort and focus issues. Not skill. Not talent. And that's on him. And look, it's good they're owning it. But at some point, the talk has to turn into action. This team says they're not the same group from last year. They say 2024 is a clean slate. A new journey. Then show it. Play like it. Because right now, this team looks like they're still trying to wake up from a Super Bowl dream that's already over. And with the Giants coming up on a short week this Thursday, they better figure out fast. And here's where it gets even more maddening. The fourth quarter sequence was a complete unraveling. And those final moments will haunt the Eagles if they don't clean this mess up fast. Because not only did they blow a lead, they did it in the most frustrating way possible, by making back-to-back mistakes that killed any chance of a comeback. Let's walk through exactly how that happened. It started with a 2nd and 1 at Denver's 48-yard line. Perfect chance to keep the tempo up, keep the pressure on. Hurts makes a clean throw to Devonta Smith for 8 yards. Easy money. You're in Broncos territory, momentum is yours, and the defense is finally catching its breath. But then, penalty. Tyler Steen was flagged as an ineligible man downfield. That is an RPO mistake we've seen before, and it just keeps happening. That's a communication issue. That's on the quarterback, on the line, on the entire offensive unit. And what should have been a drive into field goal range turns into a wasted opportunity. They never recovered from that sequence. Then came the killer. 4th and 4. Your season's still alive. The game is within reach. You've got your best playmaker in motion. And Hurts makes another great throw to Smith. 30 yards, huge gain. Could have set up a go-ahead field goal or even a game-winning touchdown. But once again, a flag. Saquon Barkley wasn't set. He motioned outright, came back into the backfield, and there were still 2 seconds on the play clock, plenty of time to get set. Yet he wasn't. Another drive erased by a detail mistake. Another shot at winning the game thrown away. And that's been the story of this team early on in the season. They're not playing clean football. It's not just the occasional flag here and there. It's constant. It's drive-killing, momentum-sapping, sideline-frustrating mistakes that never seem to end. It's a team that continues to say the right things about urgency, about discipline, about attention to detail, but doesn't back it up when the lights come on. And the opponents are noticing. Teams like Denver are taking advantage of that sloppiness and making the Eagles pay. Back to the game. After the Barkley penalty, the Eagles had a punt. The defense, already hanging by a thread, took the field again. And once again, more chances to get off the field were wasted. Denver got the ball with 5 minutes to go. The Eagles made one stop on 3rd down, and it looked like it was going to be 4th and 1 at the 28-yard line. There was still more than 2 minutes left, plenty of time for one more Eagles possession. But then came the backbreaker. Zach Bond, who has been one of the best linebackers on the team this season, gets flagged for unnecessary roughness. Now, let's be real. He was finishing the play. The runner was still fighting for yards, and Bond didn't hear a whistle. He was doing what he's taught to do, finish the tackle. But the officials threw the flag. 15 more yards. 1st down. More time burned. And just like that, the game slipped away for good. Denver kicked the field goal, made it a 4-point game, and that was that. The Eagles were out of time, out of chances, and left with nothing but regret. And here's the real issue. It wasn't about Denver outplaying them from start to finish. It was about the Eagles not executing when it mattered most. And that is a dangerous habit to fall into, because when you lose games like this, you don't just drop in the standings, you start to lose your identity. All those off-season conversations about urgency, about staying focused, about moving on from last year's Super Bowl loss, they don't mean anything if you don't show it on the field. This team said they were turning the page. They said they were locked in. But through 5 weeks, it just hasn't looked like it. The talent is there. The quarterback is playing well enough to win. The weapons on offense are dynamic. The defense, for 3 quarters, played as well as you can ask. But it's the little things, sloppy mechanics, miscommunication, bad penalties, that are derailing everything. And there's one more thing that needs to be said. The urgency at the line of scrimmage, or lack thereof, is killing this team. Multiple times this season, players have talked about not getting set in time, not getting to the line fast enough. Jordan Mailata even brought it up last week, saying it had to change. And yet here we are again, same problem. In a 1-point game, in crunch time, on national television, and you can't get set before the snap? That's not about talent. That's about urgency. That's about preparation. That's about focus. And it's just not there right now. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be the latest spark in the heated NFC East rivalry, Todd Bowles, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, reportedly did not hold back his opinions on the Philadelphia Eagles during a recent off-the-record chat with local reporters. According to sources close to the team, Bowles' remarks weren't exactly flattering. While coaches often speak carefully around the media, insiders claim Bowles' tone suggested genuine frustration, or perhaps a bit of playful provocation, toward the Eagles' current form. Rumors swirling around the locker room suggest Bowles called the Eagles' defense inconsistent and questioned their ability to perform under pressure. While he stopped short of making direct predictions for an upcoming matchup, teammates and staff reportedly left the meeting buzzing with a mix of amusement and disbelief. Some say Bowles may be trying to light a fire under his own squad, using the comments as motivation before facing Philadelphia. Others hint it might just be classic Bowles-style trash talk, meant to get the rumor mill churning and fans talking. Of course, nothing is confirmed from the Eagles' side, and their players have remained tight-lipped, though insiders note that locker room chatter indicates some irritation over the remarks. Historically, Comments like these tend to fuel rivalry games rather than calm them, and fans on both sides are already speculating on whether Bowles' words could impact the field. Sports analysts are weighing in, with some suggesting that the Bucs coach might be trying to shift the psychological pressure onto the Eagles, while others think he's simply feeding the media frenzy. Whatever the truth behind the words, the timing couldn't be more tantalizing for football fans. The NFC East has always thrived on drama and tension, and Todd Bowles' apparent jab at the Eagles seems set to add another chapter to this enduring saga. Whether it sparks on-field fireworks or just adds to the buzz surrounding the teams, one thing is certain. The rumor mill is running full speed, and no one is willing to look away. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.